Welcome to Peanut Butter and Jam Show starring Lawrence, Clifford and Peter Smith. Please subscribe and hit like. Attorney Lawrence Smith, Family Law, the best attorney in Oak Fork. Dr. Clifford Smith, Family Practice, best clinic in town. Peter Smith, Handyman, best in Oak Fork. You need it fixed, he's your guy.
The school bell rings, it's time to line up. "Come on, Raven," yells Peter as they run to get in line. Mrs. Young, who is the principal of the school, blows her whistle and tells both of them to please walk. Raven and Peter are best friends. Peter is 5 years old and a cute little pig. And no one knows what Raven is. She looks different from the other kids. In fact, she looks different from everyone in town. Her skin is purple and her face looks old and wrinkled, but she's only 5 years old. She has wavy hair and her eyes are solid white. Sometimes her eyes flashes sparks of light. Peter thinks that's so cool. The other kids laughed at her and call her mean names. Peter is Raven's only friend. When Peter and Raven are in class, they sit next to each other on the carpet. One day, a new student walks into the classroom. She was a gorgeous pig named Ivy, with rosy cheeks, long brown hair, and a beautiful smile. Peter saw her and fell in love. Peter spends less time with Raven and more time with Ivy and her friends. One day, Raven left school and never came back. A long time has passed in this small town called Oak Fork where the three pigs lived. Their names were Lawrence, Peter, and Clifford Smith. They lived on the same street. Peter lives in a one-story house that's made out of wood. Clifford lives in a two-story house that's made of stucco. And Lawrence lives in a two-story house that's made out of a special brick. Tonight looks different than most nights. It's dark and gloomy, and a storm is approaching. The three pigs left work early due to the storm, and they are standing in front of Peter's house talking. Lightning and high winds are roaring through parts of the town. Up in the sky was a huge dark tornado whose name is Dark Raven. She is known around town for her chaos and destruction. Dark Raven's funnel-shaped body twirls around at massive speeds and high winds. Dark Raven's long hair flows in the wind and her deep-set white eyes flashes lightning. Her voice, deep and loud, howls like the wind. Peter is worried about the storm. The three pigs say goodnight and go inside their house. Peter, who is terrified of storms, takes a quick shower and goes straight to bed. Clifford is in his rocking chair by the fireplace, reading a good book while Lawrence is working in his office. Peter is in his bed with the covers pulled over him. He has been afraid of thunder since he was little. Peter remembers when he was in school, and it was thundering and lightning, and his good friend Raven would hold his hand and tell him it would be all right. Peter has never forgotten that. As the storm is getting worse, an eerie voice is coming from Peter's bedroom. Dark Raven remembers Peter and how much he has hurt her. Dark Raven has never forgiven Peter for not being there when she needed him. Dark Raven targets his house. She then peers at Peter through the window. Dark Raven hits Peter's house with her swirling tail and massive winds shattering it. Dark Raven laughs cruelly after her vicious attack. She has her dark clouds hovering around as her long hair flows in the wind. Peter looks up and sees Dark Raven, and he is frightened. Peter jumps up and yells for help. He runs to his brother Clifford's house. "Where do you think you're going, little man?" asked Dark Raven in her terrifying deep voice. Peter knocked hard on Clifford's door. As Clifford opens the door, Peter runs inside. Both of them are standing in the middle of the living room, hugging each other in fear. Dark Raven looks down with her piercing white eyes. She raises her long, twirling tail and hits Clifford's house, tearing it down. Dark Raven has been toying with them. She wanted Peter to feel the pain she felt all these years. Long ago, when Raven did not return to school, no one came looking for her. Raven's foster parents had moved away and left her alone. She was waiting for her friend Peter to come and find her. After all, they were best friends. But Peter never came. Raven didn't understand that Peter was only 5 years old, and how could he have known what had happened to her? Dark Raven was taken and raised by a group of bad people that taught her how to use her special powers for evil. Dark Raven starts laughing at the brothers with her eerie voice. The brothers begin running to Lauren's house. Dark Raven was shooting lightning bolts from her eyes toward her brothers. The winds being so strong it lifted Peter off the ground. Clifford holds on to Peter's legs. "I got you, brother." Peter is afraid that he might be swept up into the tornado and lost forever. Lawrence sees his brothers are in trouble and he runs to help, but the winds are blowing so strong they can hardly hold on to poor Peter. Dark Raven shoots lightning from her fingers, the trees are falling down, and debris is flying all around them. The pigs, frightened, believed this was the end. Finally, they make it to Lawrence's house. He opens the door. Lawrence can hardly hold open the door, the wind is blowing so hard. Clifford and Peter finally made it inside. Once inside, the brothers ran upstairs to the second floor, standing in the middle of the room huddled together, fearing for their lives. Dark Raven looks down with her piercing eyes at Lauren's house. She twirls around and shoots lightning bolts from her eyes. She hits Lauren's house with her tail. The house shakes and rocks. Dark Raven hit Lauren's house again. It shakes and rocks. Inside, the brothers scream for their lives. Lauren's beautiful green lawn and hedges are torn to pieces and swept up into the tornado. Dark Raven throws everything she had at Lawrence's house, but it's still standing. Dark Raven looks down through the window. She sees the pigs huddled together in fear. And with anger in her eyes, she glares at them. Peter looks into Dark Raven's eyes, and he felt the anger run through his body. He finally realized who she was, and with such sadness in his heart, he closed his eyes and wept for his friend. Dark Raven says in an eerie voice, "I'll be back one day, and I will destroy this house, and you 3 pigs inside." The brothers staring at her through the window, shaking with fear. Dark Raven made a horrendous sound as she flew away. Lawrence looks at his brothers and says, "Don't worry, brothers. This house was built big and strong." A month passed, and it's a beautiful Saturday morning. The sun is out, not a cloud in sight. Peter is outside mowing the lawn. Clifford is making a pot of coffee, and Lawrence is coming down the stairs carrying his golf bag. And everything seems to be back to normal, except the brothers have decided to live together in case Dark Raven returns. The radio is playing music softly in the background. Then a news flash comes over the radio. Breaking news! A massive storm approaching.
The 3 Pigs and the Wrath of Dark Raven. Series 1. Written by Jennifer Ann McGee. Sold on Amazon. Paperback or ebook.